I've met many of you before, but I want to give you a little bit of background information on me, just to kind of introduce myself. I was born and raised here in Dixon. I went to the University of Dayton and graduated with a degree in communications, and then moved back to Dixon. I took a job at KSB Hospital, and I currently work there. I'm the Director of Marketing and Strategic Planning there. And that's been a good experience for me because it's really allowed me to see how a private business operates, how a large private business that has a major impact in the community deals with a lot of back and forth government regulations and is very much involved in people's lives at their moments of greatest vulnerability. And it's been a real interesting and enriching exercise for me to go through, especially on the strategic planning side of healthcare, because that lets you look at where you see yourself in a few years or where you see an organization in a few years, and lay out a plan that helps you get there. So when we talk about, in the state of Illinois, we talk about having a vision for where we want to be, having a different vision of a path that we take to get there. I think it helps to have some private business experience to look at some of those things in a new light, to look at them from a different perspective than maybe somebody who has just spent an entire career in public service or in government has taken through their life. I also have a little bit of public service experience. You know, there is a big difference between just the way that a business operates and the way that a government operates. You've got the difference between customers and taxpayers, and you want to treat everybody fairly, but you know there's a difference there. There's a difference in the way that you relate to those people. There's a difference in the kind of information you should make available to those people. There's a difference in the kinds of rights that taxpayers have, the kinds of responsibilities that a government has to its taxpayers. I've spent the last 3 years on the Lee County Board. I've served on, for a brief time, on the Executive Committee and also on the Properties Committee and the Finance Committee. So I've seen both the private budget and how that process works. We're going through that process right now for our fiscal year, which begins at the beginning of the calendar year. I've seen the private business side and I've seen the public side. The public side, we have a fiscal year begins in December. We go through a very different process for that. It's influenced by a variety of different factors, but it really is just a different process. So I think it's kind of important to have the perspective that looks at it both ways, right? To have the perspective to look at it like a private business that's in a competitive market, that's accountable to try to attract folks to choose your services, and then on the government side where you have a responsibility, where you have a contract between the people and their government. So there's really two different aspects that influence that, and I've had a chance here in Dixon on a local level to work in both kinds of settings. I want to commend you. First, I like to say it's kind of nice to be here tonight and be talking about some of the issues. The summer season on the political side is full of a lot of parades and county fairs, and it's tough sometimes to have the opportunity to come and really talk about some of the issues. So it's nice to kind of get back into this fall season. I think we'll have a lot more opportunities to come out and talk about the issues and answer questions and to have a real dialogue. So it's nice to be back here and have a chance to do that. And I want to commend you for being here tonight, for playing a part in your democracy in this government that really is a reflection of you as the people of Illinois and the people of Lee County. If we think about, you know, kind of where we are right now, we've got obviously a lot of interest and a lot of passion about this upcoming election, especially we as a group of people who have a conservative ideology, who have an aspect or a perspective on government that probably is different than the one that's been governing our state and our nation for the past several years. And sometimes it's, especially in Illinois, sometimes it's understandable that people get a little jaded or a little frustrated with the speed at which things move and the kinds of issues and the corruption and the just difference in philosophies that we face. But I want to encourage you because I think that we've come a long way and we're really taking some pretty big steps on that path towards, I think, establishing our state and our country on a better path, a path that we would all feel a little more confident in going forward. If you think about where we are right now, so it's 2012, the last presidential election, 2008, think about how different the United States was in 2008, how different our government looked in 2008. We had single-party control of every constitutional office in Illinois, supermajorities in the Illinois House and Senate. We had single-party control in the White House. We had that same party controlled the House and the Senate in Washington by significant majorities. That was in 2008. So we had single party control for us at really every level. Now 2012, we came within a razor-thin margin of electing a Republican governor. We put a Republican senator in office. We took away the supermajorities in the House and the Senate in Springfield. We elected 2 Republican constitutional officers in Springfield. In 2010, we had a landslide victory in the United States House, elected 61 new Republicans, 5 of them from here in Illinois. We've really sent a strong message that the direction that we headed in 2008, the direction that put in there the healthcare reform legislation that spent trillions in the stimulus, the direction that we were headed in 2008, 2009 is not the way the American people see their country headed. And we made a strong statement in 2010 about that, and we have an opportunity again today to take step 2. We took step 1, we need to take step 2 now. We need to change in the White House, we need to change in the U.S. Senate. We have a chance to really make some gains in the Illinois House and the Illinois Senate, and gear ourselves up for 2014 when we have a chance again to weigh in on statewide elections here in Illinois. So if you think about it in that context and think about how far we've come just in the past 4 years, how far we've come in one term, it's heartening, it's encouraging, and it lets us know that the efforts that we have toward more accountable government, toward a limited, more efficient government that's responsive to its people, that follows the direction that's set by Americans and the values that we believe in. If you look at it through that context, I think you do find some new energy to get back into participating in government just like you're doing tonight, to get together with your friends and neighbors, to get together with people who share common beliefs and common ideals, because the difference you can make is measurable, and it was measured in 2010, and I really feel confident that with groups like this, we can make another measurable difference in 2012. So I commend you for being out here tonight. I want to just echo a few of the things that Brian said. On the local level, we talked a little about state and federal politics, but on the local level, that's an area where you have a very direct ability to influence your local elected officials. You have an opportunity to run for office in a lot of cases. It doesn't take a boatload of money, it doesn't take a boatload of time, and you can make a commitment to your community to set aside some of your time and efforts and energy for public service, and in many cases run in a unopposed or very mildly opposed election. So there's a difference, I think, between when you look at some of the higher offices. It'd be tough to jump in today and run for president, right? But it wouldn't be tough to jump in today and run for school board. So I think sometimes it's identifying those local opportunities. And if we keep electing, if we keep talking to the local officials and looking at areas where we have an opportunity to make an impact, transparency is probably the first area that we really can make a measurable impact from day one of a commitment towards accountability to the public, towards transparency. I said in the board meeting, I wanted to speak up because the comments that were against transparency, I thought sent the wrong message. I don't think it represents the views of most people on the county board. There are a few of my fellow county board members here tonight, and I know they agree that we should be accountable and transparent to the public. The information doesn't belong to the county board, it doesn't belong to the department heads, it belongs to the people of Lee County. And we shouldn't do anything to place a barrier in the way of them accessing that, because it's their information, it's their property. So as we kind of look at where we can have an impact, it's by getting involved in state and federal races, but it's also by communicating with your local elected officials, by maybe stepping up and running for an office yourself, and just by remembering the fact that it's small groups like this that really can make a difference and really can have a measurable impact when we look at moving our country, moving our city, moving our county, moving our state in a direction that we're more comfortable with, that we can believe in. So again, I commend you for being out here tonight. I think we've got a real opportunity to make some positive changes during this election cycle. Thanks a lot for being here tonight. I'd be happy to take questions if anybody had specific issues that we can talk about.